Splatoon is more than a game where you can test your skills. Sure, you can have amazing mechanics and aim, but those will get you nowhere without making the right decisions. Splatoon instead is a game that can play and test the mind, just like many other competitive games out there. If you can improve and master the mind game of Splatoon 3, then you'll be in shape to improve in many other areas at the same time faster than most. Not only in the game, but also real life as well. A large part of that game I want to help guide you through is patience. The literal definition of patience is the capacity to accept or tolerate delay, trouble, or suffering without getting angry or upset. In Splatoon, patience is present in every aspect of improving, from making better choices to making fights easier for yourself. Outside of Splatoon, it helps with reflecting and getting back to when things aren't progressing as you wish. That's just a high-level overview though, so let's go in a little bit more detail. In Splatoon 3, staying alive is one of the most important things you can do. It can be compared to the other primary goals, including taking space as quickly as possible and maintaining it for as long as possible, or in other words, being able to transition and resisting opposing retake attempts. Staying alive involves being able to skirmish when people start shooting at you and making better decisions regarding fights. Making these decisions utilizes patience. Who would have thought? Patience in these scenarios is a matter of taking things somewhat slower and not rushing when you have a bit of downtime or when no one's immediately pressuring you. Take these moments to gather information such as positioning, specials, or even 2v1 opportunities. However, don't think of them as times to just stop what you're doing. You should be doing something, whether it's paying for your special or taking space as a few examples. Otherwise, you'll miss out on opportunities further up the map or even during your pushes. As you get better at intaking information, you may get into the habit of taking riskier plays. This is fine for the most part because if there's no risk, there's no reward. Just don't be too careless about the risks you take or you'll be punished for taking them in the first place. Now, Splatoon 3 isn't all about the choices you make, but it involves your teammates too. Patience with teammates is probably one of the weakest aspects of everyone's mindset, even mine at times. When it comes to your teammates, you need to understand that what they do is out of your control. Instead, you should really just focus on what you can control. You can't do everything at once as much as you would like to, and everyone learns at a different pace or maybe a lower skill level than you. With that in mind, patience is a matter of not panicking when times get bad with your teammates. Instead, it's about limiting the damage more than anything. This relates to not going down as we discussed previously. Now, here's an example of patience in a game of mine I had a little while back. So, it's the start of the game, we're playing it out, and two of my teammates go down. They go 2 down right now. It's just me and the other blaster player alive. And this is where patience comes into play, as well as being able to skirmish and allow my team to regroup. So, what I could do right now, and maybe what most people would do, is that they would just kind of like go up here or hug close to this wall and shoot above it, see if they can get any picks. Like, the bad thing in that is like you run too much risk to go 3 down and then have the other team have an opportunity to push. So I'll play this a bit further and explain what I do next. So I do poke out, I do get a pick, which is great, but I just want you to pay attention to my positioning and just where I go relative to the cover I have. And also, again, we're still 2 down, theoretically speaking. Of course, the pick I get helps, but nonetheless, it's still kind of a risky situation. So I space myself a lot here, because I'm thinking before we were 2 down, and now they're 2 down obviously, but since they had the advantage previously, since the other team had the advantage previously, they may have the intention of pushing up and rushing me. So I decide to take a step back to then distance myself to anyone who wants to then try and dive on me. And of course, as a range blaster, that's what I want to do. Maybe a bit too far, but the general idea is I want to create space for myself in case anyone does rush me. Now someone decides to rush me, I see them, I have my space, which is exactly what I want, and we'll play this further, and they get punished for it. So now I'm trading back for my teammates, and if we go overhead, everyone is pretty much where they should be in terms of like trying to regroup. So the blaster is helping me at the top, the well string's helping the middle of the map, and the sword is trying to fight people up the map as well. So we're pretty much regrouped, and I know it's okay for me to at least try to take this fight. Because let's just say if I don't win, I have my blaster teammate at the top to help me out. But going back to where I was, we go back to that fight previously, so a bit prior. I punished that fight, again still holding my space. My blaster is helping me out. And because of that, I was able to turn a 2v4 into now a 4v1. Just in a matter of 10 seconds, spacing, skirmishing, and allowing my team to regroup. And afterwards, I know I take my time a little bit here, but now we have control of the middle of the map and we're in good position to try and make a push. Now with the in-game side of patience out of the way, let's look at the other one. The other side of patience doesn't involve playing matches. What you do outside of matches is just as important as what you do inside of them. Sometimes you get frustrated with yourself by not improving fast enough, or making this same mistake over and over, and that's okay. What matters in these moments is how you bring yourself back on track. How you do that is up to you, but I like to do a couple of deep breaths if I start to think this way. Having patience outside of the game also means taking the time to reflect on what happened during your session. Don't let it be purely things you should work on. Instead, you should think about things you did well, so it doesn't feel like you're doing everything wrong. Trust me, that feeling sucks. If you're having trouble with this part, find a higher ranked player or coach like myself to set you on the right path. As you reflect on what to improve, don't take everything into consideration all at once. Instead, focus on 2 or 3 items at a time. Once you feel confident with those items, then you can move on and take on the next few. Now then, after everything I mentioned up to this point, one of the most important things I want you to take away about having patience is being able to balance it. If you become too patient, you'll start to let things slip past you. In turn, this will limit your drive to improve and miss more obvious mistakes that you would typically catch otherwise. It'll also make you play a lot more cautiously than you should, missing good fights or when to use your special. On the other hand, having a lack of patience leads to frustration, rationalizations, and more, and I think a lot of people fall into this side of the scale. Nonetheless, patience will always be a virtue, and it's a matter of finding the right amount of it, the right resources to use, and the people to help you.